Hey everyone, welcome back. Ready for another deep dive?
Absolutely. Always ready to dig into some interesting stuff.
Well, you know I love a good story, and the articles you sent me, these reports from Nikkei Asia, are pretty wild.
Yeah, a lot going on in the auto industry. Always something brewing, right?
Big time. I mean, they're talking about this potential merger that could shake things up.
Hmm.
Seriously, Nissan, Honda, and Mitsubishi all joining forces.
It's definitely a headline grabber. And yeah, if it happens, it could reshape like the whole landscape.
It really could. And here's the kicker. One of those companies, they might not even be around this time next year if this deal doesn't go
Oh,
through.
yeah, no, that's right. Nissan, they are in a tight spot. Financially, I mean.
From what I was reading, sounds like they're down to their last year of funding.
Pretty much, yeah. Not in a good place, to put it mildly.
So this merger, it's not just, about expanding or whatever. It's about survival. For Nissan, at least.
It is a lifeline, potentially. High stakes.
Totally. Now, okay, I gotta admit, I'm not like a total car fanatic. So for people like me, who don't spend all their time reading car magazines, why is this such a big deal? These three companies coming together.
Well, even on their own, they're pretty big players, right? But if they combine, we're talking about some serious production power, like potentially 8 million vehicles a year.
8 million. Seriously.
Yeah, puts them right up there with the giants, like just behind Toyota and Volkswagen. That kind of scale, it's a game changer for
Yeah,
sure.
that's a kind of cars. But okay, so it's not just about being like
Right.
mega huge, right? There's got to be a strategy behind it.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about size. Think about what's happening in the industry. Software is becoming just as important as all the hardware. You got to have both.
Right, the whole tech side of things.
Exactly. And then companies are also like sharing components more and more to stay competitive, cut costs, all that. This merger, it could let them pool all those resources, become a real leader.
So they're kind of looking ahead to like the future of driving.
They are. And a big part of that future, electric vehicles.
Of course. Everyone's talking about electric cars these days.
And this merger could give them a real edge there, compete with Tesla, the Chinese companies coming up strong, all that. In fact, in one of those Nikkei articles, some analyst was predicting they could actually end up dominating like the market for affordable long-range electric SUVs.
Interesting, because yeah, that's what a lot of people want, right? Not everyone can afford a luxury EV.
Right.
Okay, so back to Nissan for a second. We talked about how they're struggling, this merger being a lifeline. So how does this actually help them?
Well, for them, it's a chance to sort of hit reset, get access to more resources, maybe even like reinvent their image a bit, start fresh.
Okay, that makes sense. So if Nissan's in it for survival, what about Honda? They seem to be doing okay on their own. Why would they want this massive change?
Well, they're already making big moves in green tech, fuel efficient models, but this merger, it's like putting those efforts on fast forward.
How so?
Well, think about it. Combined manufacturing power. They could really ramp up production of electric vehicles, maybe bring costs down.
Make them more affordable.
Exactly. Plus, all those supply chain things we were talking about, that could speed up how fast they can develop new tech.
Gotcha. So it's not just about survival for Nissan. It's also about like pushing the boundaries even further for Honda. What about Mitsubishi though? What do they get out of this?
Well, they have a really strong presence in Southeast Asia, which is interesting because that market's adopting electric vehicles like crazy.
Ah,
Yeah. So this merger, it could give them the resources they need to expand even more in that region. And they also get access to all that Honda and Nissan tech, which they could then integrate into their own vehicles.
seems like a win-win for everyone, right?
Mm.
Sounds pretty good so far.
Well, hold on a second. Merging three companies, especially ones this big, it's not a walk in the park. They each have their own way of doing things, their own culture.
Right, got to get everyone on the same page.
Exactly. There's going to be conflicts, power struggles. Some people might even lose their jobs.
Ah, yeah, that's the downside.
It is. It's complicated. And, one of the articles we got here quotes this professor of economics, and he's skeptical. Like, he doesn't think they can actually pull it off.
Really?
Yeah, he brings up the Daimler-Chrysler merger,
Right.
how that went so wrong.
Oof. Yeah, that one didn't exactly go down in history as a success story.
Nope.
So it's not as simple as just like signing a paper and boom, you're one big happy company.
Mhm.
There's some serious risk involved.
Big time. And, the investors, they seem to be aware of that. Like, Nissan and Mitsubishi stocks, they went up when the news broke. But Honda's dipped a little.
Huh. That's telling.
It's like the market's saying, hey, this could be amazing, but it could also totally backfire.
High risk, high reward, I guess. Okay, so let's play this out. Let's say they do merge. What could it actually mean for, like the average car buyer? Me, you, everyone out there driving around.
Well, it could mean we see more affordable electric vehicles,
Yeah,
which would be awesome.
for sure.
Faster innovation, maybe, and definitely a wider variety of models to choose from. But, there's always a flip side. It could also mean less competition in the market, and that could push prices up in the long run.
Right. It's a trade-off.
It is. So I guess we got to wait and see.
So to kind of sum this all up, we're looking at a potential industry shakeup, a company, Nissan, that's really fighting to stay in the game.
Hmm.
And the whole future of transportation, it's sort of hanging in the balance. That's pretty intense.
It is. And it makes you wonder, with all this uncertainty, who's actually going to come out on top? Will this merger turn them into a powerhouse? Or will it be like their downfall? And what will that mean for what kind of cars we'll be driving 5, 10 years down the line? So many questions.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot to think about. It feels like we're on the verge of something big. And I don't know about you, but I'm definitely curious to see what happens next.
Same here. It'll be interesting for sure.
All right, well, thanks for breaking all this down for us. Really appreciate your insights. And to everyone listening, thanks for joining us for another deep dive. See you next time.
Thanks for having me.